Welcome to Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast, where we dive into the awkwardness of the world's vaguest offer. Let me know if you need anything. We are here to reframe asking for help as courageous, human, and badass. Today we're chatting with Rachel Baumel from Sleep Again Pillows. She's a breast cancer survivor who turned her life-changing event into her business. She chats about the 3 types of personalities that emerge when people are faced with an illness or a tragedy. And spoiler alert, she's an action taker. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast. Kristen and I are here today with our first guest, which is so exciting. Hey. We have Rachel, and Rachel is a breast cancer survivor. She's also the founder of Sleep Again Pillows. So we're going to jump in and just start talking to her. I think first, I'm going to say how we met. So I stalked Rachel and her business partner, Kate, on LinkedIn because we were looking for some people to potentially partner with that we could help find great products for the people that we're advertising to and the people that we work with, which are generally people going through major illness. So she has this great Sleep Again pillow system that is meant to really give people comfort and help them rest properly after surgery, because getting comfortable is like a whole thing. And I can attest to that. And so I asked if they would connect with me, and she was like totally not hesitant. She's, yeah, we'll connect. And so we got online, and I was at where I work at this building, and then there was a tornado. So we were mid-conversation, and we were like having this great chat, and they're so engaging. And then I was like, I have to go. There's a tornado. I have to go to the basement. Goodbye. And then luckily we reconnected, and here we are today. So thank you for being here.
Yes. Happy to be here.
Tell us kind of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah.
Take us back to maybe when you were diagnosed, what you were feeling at that time.
Yeah. So I definitely noticed that I had a couple years of hormones that seemed off, right? And my OBGYN, she's like, you're fine, everything's fine. And one doctor, I think it was tried to tell me that I should take testosterone, which I'm so glad I didn't do, because that would have essentially turned into more estrogen. And it turns out, I went for my mammogram after 2 years of feeling off hormonally, and they said, we want you to come in for a follow-up mammogram. Like, okay, should I be nervous? Yep. And they said, no, you're in the good pile. And I'm like, whatever that means, and then I go in and I do the mammogram, and then the tech is like, let's go do an ultrasound. And I'm like, okay, let's go do an ultrasound. And then I'm in the ultrasound, and, she's marking it all up, and I'm like, oh, doesn't look good. And then she's like, I'm going to go get the radiologist. And I'm trying to look at the screen of what she just marked up. And she goes to get the radiologist. The radiologist comes in and literally diagnoses me on the spot. And I swore out loud. And I said, are you
beeping?
Yeah, kidding me. And she's like, no, you blah, blah, blah. And my husband wasn't with me, and I wasn't expecting it. And then I was pretty upset. I just remember being just out of just feeling completely shocked that this was happening. And as I was leaving after being diagnosed, the receptionist was like, have a great day. And I was sobbing and, in the parking lot sobbing. Yeah. On my way home,
read the room, receptionist.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I literally was like, really? I'm leaving here crying, and you're telling me to have a great day. So I remember that time being really stressful, and I'm kind of like a go-getter, kind of a person to go, just on things. So I was literally wanted answers as quickly as possible. Yep. And it takes a little bit of time for them to figure it all out. But, estrogen positive, progesterone positive. So I was a very hormone positive breast cancer. And that explains probably why I was off for a couple years beforehand. My hormones were just out of whack. And at the time, it had been a really stressful time with my business. We had 2 preschools at the time. We owned 2 preschools, and I was working full time as a mediator. So I had many jobs, and I was primary in the kitchen. So I was so stressed beyond belief, and I'm sure my hormones were just all over the place. But I will say that all of that led me to a point where I realized that like how I live my life and what I do, like I can't be everything to everyone all the time. And I also can't stress myself out to the point where my hormones and everything is kind of out of whack. So it was a really good moment in my life just to kind of reset like who I am, why I'm here, and how I'm going to live moving forward.
Yeah. So I have two thoughts about that. First of all, I don't know if you've noticed, I talk to a lot of people with breast cancer.
Yeah.
There always seems to be a precursor of like, I was at my most stressful point in my life prior to being diagnosed, and then I was diagnosed. So I think that's so interesting. But what I'm wondering is like, I'm at the same point where I can now look it back and say, you know, I kind of turned this into a turning point in my life. Like, okay, I need to like focus on stress. I need to focus on my health. I need to make sure that doing things for myself is a priority. Did you recognize that in the moment? Or is that something that like after some time you were like, okay, after you got through your initial treatment stuff, you're like, okay, now I need to kind of get my shit together. You're allowed to curse, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
Let it fly.
I do. I mean, when I was mediating, I was a mediator that would just swear, right? And I did it. Like in some ways you kind of do it because they say if you swear, it relaxes other people around you. Like they just kind of feel like, oh, okay. There were like 3 times when I was mediating, I did family law. So like people were divorcing or custody or something. There were like 3 times where people were like, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't swear. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'd probably even swear after that just because I was told not to swear. And I'm like, don't tell me what to do, you know, kind of a thing. But good to know. So I will not filter myself. But I'm a very analytical person. So as I was struggling and going through it, I was redefining my life. And I was saying, I'm going to use this experience and I'm going to change how I'm living, because I'm not here to be so stressed out that I can't enjoy my family, my life, I want to be here and not be so worried about everything all the time. So I do think I was someone who kind of changed and adapted in real time. And I started meditating and reading lots of books, like their radical remission. There's a lot of things I did. I did a chakra reading, and I started kind of engaging with an energy healer. So I really tried to say, you know what? I know myself. I'm super ambitious. I'm hard on myself. I'm like, I have all these traits, right? And all these things, which someone might say is good, but I also think pushes me past like a point where I'm really sitting here living, and I needed to get myself back and remind myself that why I'm here. And so cancer was like a turning point for me where I was able to say, you know what, I'm going to change how I'm living. And in 2018, so I was diagnosed in 2017, 2018, we did 5 weeks in Europe. Our family, I called it the Life is Too Short tour. And we did France, Italy, Spain. And it was like,
I love that.
Joyful. Like it was just cause I love to travel, and travel. Everything about me is like, I'm my best self when I'm traveling. I'm 100% my best self. So,
and you probably would not have done that trip had you not had to reset.
Oh, think about all the reasons. There's not enough money. There's not enough time. There's
never a good time.
Yeah. So that is a huge shift in me. If anyone tries to tell me, like, I mean, I love my husband so much, but he does not love traveling as much as I do. But if he tries to give me a reason not to, I'll be like, you don't have to come with me. I will go with a friend. I will go by myself. I will go. But like traveling is my absolute moment where I get to just be 100% wherever I am, experiencing whatever I'm experiencing.
I love it. Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast is sponsored by Gift Well Soon. Do you have a friend who needs help but is too overwhelmed to ask for it? Let Gift Well Soon do the asking for them. Gift Well Soon, the care registry for life's toughest moments. So the first time we met, we were chatting about how you took your diagnosis and then channeled it into this business. Partially, you just told us kind of your personal life, and then you channeled into the business. And then I was explaining that I had also done the same. And then you gave me this theory of 3 people. I don't know if you remember this.
Yes.
But I like literally wrote it down when I was in the basement during the tornado drill because I was like, that's so interesting. So you had like, it was like the people that avoid the diagnosis.
Yep.
The people that, what was it, are defeated. And then the action takers.
Yes.
We all know what you are. Redo that. Give me the sleep again. We're gonna have to jump back because it's gonna make more sense. How did you know sleep again pillows?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So after my diagnosis, I had, a double mastectomy.
Yep.
And with my double mastectomy, I was not able to sleep on my back. The doctor said, sleep on a wedge pillow. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know if anyone has tried to sleep on a wedge pillow, but you literally like slide down.
And then your head's like, well,
your head's kind of this. It's just impossible. And I remember being so frustrated because I couldn't sleep. And sleeping is so important for healing. So I started playing around with it and like buying pillows and figuring it out. And what I did was I figured out the system that is now the Sleep Again Pillow system. And it took a little like kind of stops and starts and like, let me try this, let me try that. And we definitely adjusted it over time. But at the beginning, I think what was so critical was I was able to rest and recover and sleep and not feel like that was a component that was stressing me out. And I also remember I would meditate in the pillow system. I would read in the pillow system. I called it my life raft. Other people have called it, cocoon, nest. I mean, they're just
like a warm hug.
Yeah. Like you
like just want to snuggle into it.
And I know this isn't a visual medium, but everyone needs to go on the website to see the videos of like how you set it up and how you I want it, and I don't even have like a surgery or anything like that. It looks fantastic.
Well, you'll get comfy, Kristen, so don't you worry. We're gonna
not a surgery, but we'll get you a pillow system.
You just have it, and then you can just use it however you want. Like a lot of people just find comfort in it, and that's the point. In a world where we need comfort, that is what it was. And so I created it and started lending it out to just people. Like my husband's coworker's wife went through breast cancer. So I would put it in a garbage bag, no joke, and we would lend it out. And people were like, this is amazing. And my brain never stops. Like you can gather that from this already. My brain doesn't stop. So I'm like, oh my God, people need this. And my husband's like, no new business, Rachel. You cannot start a new business. And I'm like, Dan, people need this. Like it's like some message is coming down that people need this. So then in COVID, literally COVID, I was June of 2020. I created the name Sleep Again Pillows. And here we are, it's still with us. And me and 2 other people we just started the whole concept of Sleep Again Pillows. Now, we created 25 prototypes and then started just lending them out to people. And that was just to get the feedback of, am I crazy? Is it just me or will other people really benefit from it? And that's when we started getting the whole, it's my nest, it's my cocoon, I don't know what I would do without it. Blah, blah, blah. So we're like, we have something here. Like we have something that will really help people. And that's kind of like the beginning of it.
How did you find the people? Was it all word of mouth, friends of friends? Like,
A lot of that. I would drive all around Denver just dropping them off because people were like, okay, I'll try your pillows and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, don't worry, let me get in my car. And I'm like, and I would drop them off and we would send them to people like out of state, which I don't remember how we even did. Like we found the people and we'd take them to them and then we'd bring them back so that we would literally be able to get the most feedback. And it became like very apparent that it was something like absolutely special and nothing else existed. And we have we have 2 patents on the pillow system.
Yes,
amazing.
Get it.
Yeah. So now that I interrupted you on your former thoughts, we were talking about you were prototyping, and that was how we were talking about like you were clearly an action taker compared to.
Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to talk to you about how I acknowledge and realize how people like respond to their cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
So like I remember one woman who got the pillow system, she just wanted to pretend like the whole thing wasn't happening. So literally was like, I like wouldn't even, like I couldn't engage with her. So part of what I do as a person is I'm like, let me talk to you. I still do this to this day. If anyone needs it, I will talk to them for an hour or two about their diagnosis and what is happening and try and give some insight or help or whatever they need, like an ear. And so she did not want to engage on any level. It was like breast cancer wasn't even happening to her. And I now have known a few people that have had that reaction of like, I'm not going to even acknowledge with anyone. I want no help, no engagement, no talking about this. And I'm like, and that's one way of dealing with breast
And then
cancer.
generally, I think when that happens, the people in their lives pick up on that, and then they don't talk about it either. And
No
so
one-
it becomes this very avoided, like elephant in the room subject.
100%. So that was definitely like one type of reaction to breast cancer that I don't 100% understand or relate to because of my personality.
Yep.
But then there are people that are like, this is the worst thing that's ever happening to me. And like doomsday, like I'm going to die. This is horrible. This is like, why me, the victim kind of like me. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but that was definitely like sad for me. Cause I'm like, and I'll get into why that's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was hard because those people feel like life is against them. And this is just one more thing in the world that is happening to them. And I did see a bit of that where I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. And, like, what can I do to help you? And how can I make you feel better? But sometimes there's nothing you can say or do when someone feels like the world is against them.
Yep.
I just kind of feel bad because I'm like, life has so much joy and meaning and possibility.
A lot of that has to come from within too. They have to kind of find that ability to seek out that joy and seek out that meaning to live.
100%.
Will to live almost.
100%. Yeah. It's just, you want people to feel like there is the light at the end of the tunnel or the rainbow or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's the action seekers, and the action seekers are people that, like me and you, Amy, are like the people that are like, okay, this happened and it kind of sucks, but why? Why did this happen? I'm going to really dig deep and say, okay, like for me, I was super stressed. I was, living to work and not working to live. I was literally I was running 2 preschools and meeting full time and primary on the kids. And remind me, I'll tell you a funny story about the primary on the kids after. But I was doing all of it, and why? And like, and for what purpose and what reason? And then I took that and I said, I want to work to live, not live to work. I want to travel. I want to enjoy my time here. I want to live differently. I want to make different choices moving forward.
Yeah.
And so it really changed my whole trajectory of life. And I said, I'm going to use this as a reason and an example to live differently and to help other women going through this, and to try to change a lot of things in a lot of people's lives moving forward.
I really love that. Like, I wish that people would have that, would not need to go through something traumatic to like look at that outlook. That's really powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
Well, I don't know if I would have changed if I hadn't had cancer.
I know you said, like, when you were talking about the 3 types of people, there's nothing wrong with that. But the clinician in me, I'm not shaming anyone, but I will say the clinician in me, I did a little research in like human psychology. And in fact, those other personality types that like aren't willing to share, we're big on this podcast about asking for help. That's our whole goal, is to like flip the script and let people know that asking for help is one of the ways that you truly get the support you need, but you also open yourself up to that ability to heal and ability to look forward. And so in oncology studies, particularly, the defeated personality is generally associated with worse outcomes clinically, which is extremely sad. So I have noticed, I have seen a lot of oncology practices are trying to recognize that personality. They do like a screening intake form.
Oh, wow.
And then if you meet the criteria, then they recommend that you have like, a therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy. So I just have to insert that there. So people know that you're not stuck with that personality. If that's how you initially react, because that may be your personality, you can hopefully overcome that. And then, the idea being getting better outcomes for everybody. So.
No, that's huge. I'm really glad to hear that in a time when I feel like it's hard to get the care you necessarily need, consistently across our country, the country right now. I think it's important to know that there are places and things in place that will actually help you kind of work through things emotionally. Like that's actually very nice to know that is happening, because I sometimes feel like you've got to fight for every bit of help that you get, So that's wonderful to hear. That's very wonderful.
So tell us your funny story about being,
oh
my God, a primary, but do you mean like you're the main caregiver?
Yeah. So like my husband.
I've never heard that term. I'm going to start calling myself the primary, but I'm not.
Primary. Like primary, like, okay, think about like
call yourself that.
Think about like what we as women do. Like you've got the driving, right? Like, so my kids were 12 and 15 at the time. All the driving that happens when your kids are that age. My husband was at that time, he was working for a startup, and the startup was super intense, and he was really, really busy. Yeah. They went public like during my breast cancer journey. Yeah. So this was a time when, like I said, when in 2004, 2005, I'd started a Mommy and Me program, grew it to pretty much just a short story grew that into a preschool. And then it was two preschools. And my big thing was we have to own land. And, so like we literally built two preschools. One was like started with our Mommy and Me program and we built it up. And one was just we just renovated a building and we did that. So I was managing the executive director who managed both. Then I was doing the mediation, for family law. And then we had these two beautiful girls. And my husband just couldn't, like his one job was like a lot for him. And I know. So the conversation.
So awful and so accurate.
Yeah, the conversations that would happen were like, I'm at capacity. And I'm like, from him, he would say that. And I'm like, So after cancer, I was like, this whole like I'm at capacity. I'm like, no one ever told me I was allowed to say I'm at capacity. Like, I'm like, what does that mean? And when do I get to like put my hands up and be like, I'm at capacity. I'm at capacity. And we would laugh and he'd be like, well, I called it first.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, okay.
It's like shotgun. It's like walking out to the car and being like shotgun, and then you get the front seat. But no, like, capacity doesn't work that way.
I always think back to like the whole like women are not taught that we can ever say we're at capacity. We are not taught. We just have to take it and juggle it and figure out a way to make it work. And if that means less sleep or no sleep, that's what it means. Like if that means more stress, then that's what it means. And so that's always been like a story in the back of my mind. Like my husband's wonderful and amazing. But it's like that has been truly like representative of what I think women struggle with a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Not for nothing though. We're pretty good at getting shit done. So
we are.
It's two sides of the same coin.
It's a cross that we have to bear.
Yes.
I have that problem as an employee. I have that problem. Yeah. And I'll like sit there and watch everyone else. And I'm like, I feel like I could do this, but I should really keep my mouth shut. And it's like, I should not open my mouth. Anyways, it's all great. Anything else you want to share with us about the business at the moment or how you're doing? And then we're going to give you our last like things we love to, Kristen's going to give you our things we love to ask people at the end of the show.
Of course. Yeah. No, I mean, the pillows have been amazing, and the more we grow, the more we try to donate. So it's important. We don't make a huge deal about that, but just the other day, my business partner, Kate, like a woman reached out and was like, oh my God, this just happened, my diagnosis, and we can't afford, pillows, and she was so kind. When people are rude about it, it's very hard. When they like are insulting us and then asking for pillows, it's very hard.
No, it doesn't work like that.
And I know. And I'm like, kind of like, if you were nice, we would literally hand you a pillow. So
this is what I tell my teenage daughter all the time. Like,
totally.
catch more flies with honey.
You would think people would get the concept of if I ask nicely, then, but we do try really hard. And just the other day, Kate just sent like the pillow system to someone who really needed it and couldn't afford it. And we try to do that as often as we can. And the more we grow, the more we're able to donate. So
that's
it's
great.
really been wonderful. Like it feels like it's like a karma thing. Like we're putting really good things out there in the world and it's coming back. And so we've been loving that. And for us, it brings us so much joy when we can actually like send pillows to someone that really needs it. So that has actually been probably one of the best things about this is when we are capable and able to donate more to more women that need it.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait till we get
I love that abundance mindset. It's so good. One quick plug for you guys, though. I saw on the website that it is HSA and FSA covered. So got to throw that out there for everybody. And there's payment plans. I mean, you can't put a price on sleep, especially when you're healing. Even in general, like sleep is so important. So love what you're doing. This is fantastic. Very exciting for you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We like to ask we like to ask each other because since you're our first guest, we're going to ask people. So what is your favorite comfort food?
So I actually talked to Kate about this before the podcast, and my favorite comfort food used to be, because I have to, and then I'll tell you why I'm going to say it this way. Used to be like this homemade Italian spaghetti sauce that my husband from a coworker way back when from her Italian grandmother, and it was just the nummiest. Like you smell it like cooking, and then you eat it, and I just still. Like it just like
fills up the house.
Oh my God. Like it literally was the most amazing like food that I would dream about it. You know, I'd eat too much of it. Like it was just incredible. And I think I still have the recipe if you guys want it.
I do.
I would love it.
We'll share it in the show notes, perhaps.
No, don't share it.
That friend's going to come back and be like, that was my recipe.
I know. That's the only thing I'm like, can I do that?
I've had that happen. I've actually had that happen where a friend was like,
how about if I send it just directly to you guys?
Good idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. And then now the problem is, and this is important, and I did want to say this to you guys, is like going through breast cancer, especially hormonal, made me go through menopause, right? And when you go through menopause and no one really talks about all the things that come with that, I now have, and I'm sorry, I don't mean for this to be depressing, just more educational.
Yeah.
I got put into like, my cholesterol went up, my blood sugar went up. Like your body just completely changes when you're in menopause.
Yep.
And I am now like, they kept saying to me, oh, just eat less carbs and less sugar to maintain all the things and exercise more. And I'm like the healthiest person in the world. And I don't eat carbs or sugar anymore because I'm not allowed to. And they're still like, your A1C is too high and you need to blah, blah, blah. And so I guess what message I want to say is my favorite food is not my favorite comfort food anymore because I can't eat it anymore, which is sad for everybody. But I can have zoodles.
Oh, yeah.
But it's okay. And you can find a path forward. You just have to like push really hard and talk to like, sadly, a lot of providers because, you know, it's like becomes like a little bit of a bigger thing. But your body is going to go through a lot of changes usually with breast cancer. And as long as you are advocating for yourself and you're being open and communicative about what's happening to your body, there are answers out there and there is a path forward for you. You just have to kind of work your way and find it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, that's very powerful. People don't talk about menopause enough either. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. And word for Rachel's friends, don't send her a casserole of lasagna. She can't eat it. So let's focus on the zoodles and, you know, give her what she needs and what she wants. And
they don't like having me over for dinner anymore because they're like, what are you eating now? And I'm like,
don't you hate being that? I know. I don't hate being that person because I've also been through the prior even to my breast cancer. I was very like food savvy, or I tried to be.
Yes.
And I don't think I've hit the worst of it where like my body's totally rejecting everything I eat, but I definitely, Kristen and I both have been like talking to functional medicine providers and trying to get all the things lined up so we can be more on the preventive stream rather than the treatment stream.
Yes. Well, if you guys ever want to talk about it, I feel like I went to dinner with friends the other night, and the two women that are 51 are on IUDs, and they haven't had any menopause symptoms because they still have Mirena IUDs. And I'm like, ooh, I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, if you ever need any information. And I kind of did a comedy routine of like what happens in menopause, because I'm like, I didn't want to scare them, but I also wanted them to know. So I kind of tried to make everyone laugh with like, oh, this will happen, and then that will happen, and blah, blah, blah. And they were like dying laughing, but I'm sure in the back of their heads, they're like, oh God, like that just sounds
I smell a second episode, and it's going to be called "Let Me Know If You Need Some Hormones."
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yes. Seriously. There are and for women who've gone through breast cancer, we can't. And so I have a slew of other ideas. Like if you ever want or need any ideas for breast cancer survivors for menopause, I'm your gal. Like I have tons of like ideas and thoughts and resources.
Perfect. So. Well, Rachel, thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate your time. You're the best. And we love.
Yes, please come back. We're going to have you
come back. We love what you're doing with Sleep Again pillows. And we're out. Thank you for joining us on Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast. Today we chatted with Rachel Baumel from Sleep Again Pillows. She told us about the 3 personality types, and we learned so much about how she took her life-changing experience and turned it into a success. Remember, whether you're showing up for someone you love or learning how to speak up for yourself and ask for the help you need, it's human, it's courageous, and it's absolutely badass. Please visit us at lmkpod.com to share your thoughts and tell us what personality type you think you are. We would also love to hear about your favorite comfort food. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with someone who needs it. Visit us on the socials. All the links are at lmkpod.com.
Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast has partnered with Sleep Again Pillows, created by a breast cancer survivor who went through a double mastectomy. And out of that experience came a pillow system that makes it easier to get real rest after surgery, something essential for anyone in recovery. As part of our partnership, listeners get 15% off the pillow system or bundle. Just visit sleepagainpillows.com and use the code GetWell15 at checkout.